Welcome to the Overwatch Cavalry Club Scrims Platinum Division. Mosaic with the fat shatter coming in. That's one, two, make it another. That's a quadruple, folks. Chan sending in the Diva Bomb. Triple kill! Comes the Nano Rhyme Mew Kitty doing work. Ooh, somebody give me a clothespin. That was a stinky play. Onbreaker with the fat shatter, cleaning up the payload. It is cleaning up the backline. Healer's down. Tanks are down. DPS down. Ice break on the devil herself. That's 2. Reaper trying to get away, but no bueno. Getting into that backline, trying to keep them from pushing in. I have to say, Tincy's Winston does not monkey around.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to O.C.C. Scrims. Tonight we got a really fun game between Monarch and Aether, and I'm joined today by Amano Yuki. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing alright. My tonsils are a little bit swollen up, but I think it should be fine. So, let's talk about what is going on here. Monarch versus Aether. We've seen some great games from them. And Monarch just last Saturday played against Frost.
Did you just cut out?
No, I was trying to remember. I believe it was Frost that ended up winning the game last Saturday, right? And that was actually their first game of the season.
I believe so.
Their first win of the season.
Yes, I believe so. That was I think Frost or Monarch versus Aether. It was Frost vs. Monarch the 22nd, correct? It was last Saturday, and then, yeah. So that was last Saturday, if I'm reading that correctly. It was
so Monarch is sort of, they're feeling the heat a little bit. They definitely want to come through here and pull out a win and show that they are still on the top of the Plat division. So, you know, these players, we know them very, very well. We've seen Sickfotch and Eternal were popping off last Saturday. We saw Eternal on a lot of pretty interesting champions. At first, we saw him on the Doomfist and on the Reaper, so definitely keep an eye on him. He's a very fun player to watch. And Aether, it's been a while since I've watched them, but I definitely know that Sips T and Waifu are great people to watch.
Correct. Yeah. they're definitely, each team has their power players in the night. It could go a lot of time to practice, refine. Both teams have been working really hard to fine-tune their skills, and we could see the fruits of their labor here tonight, and who will come up with a victory.
So the first map, as you guys can see, is going to be Dorado, an escort map. You just get out of your spawn and start pushing that payload. Normally we see a pretty strong high ground defense on here, sitting right up here on this balcony on the first right angle turn right near this arch on the first point. So usually we see some sort of long range strategy there in order to get a lot of damage down. So let's look at what team comps we're going to be seeing. There's something pretty interesting coming out of Waifu here. He's going to be playing the Bastion.
And the attack, that is very interesting. I think they're planning on, because they know, like on this map, they generally set up on the high ground. But with that corner pit on the payload, it allows for them to easily set up on the payload and do a Bastion Rhine protection on the payload. It gives them that corner to get that setup, which normally is not there for most maps.
Yeah, it seems like we're not going to be getting sort of a full pirate ship, but it is very, very similar. And the question is, will they be able to deal with it? There has been the Sonic Arrow out there, but Bunny-chan is going to have to find a way to deal with this damage. Actually, Waifu has swapped off. He's going to be playing the McCree. So a little bit sad we're not going to be seeing the Bastion. I was pretty excited, but nothing to come of it. So right now, the teams are just exchanging shots here, trying to get a little bit of an opportunity on each other, but nothing's going to be coming of it. Sipsty, he went in there, but used the boosters to get back out. The Sonic Arrow comes through to try and get a little bit of vision, a little bit of information there. But right now, both teams are just hiding behind the corners and the shields. But there it is. Sickflash finds a pick onto Sheepy, and now they're just going in. Sipsty manages to find the return kill onto Bunny-chan, and with both the tanks down, with Riddle falling, Monarch, they don't have anywhere to hide. They have nothing protecting them, so Sipsy is able to just go in there and just try and deal damage. With Waifu and Shazam following it up, they are going to be wiping Monarch and taking the first checkpoint.
What happened there was the really strong picks that Sheepy did, taking out both their tanks, just left no room for them to shield and damage absorb, which allowed for the easy picks on vulnerable heroes like Six Fudge and Eternal when they don't have those backups.
And right now, Widowfaker actually fell, and so he's actually really far away from his team. So that means that right now, Monarch does not have a main healer. Will they be able to recognize that and push forward? Right now, it seems like Eternal returned to the favor, taking out Waifu with a clean deflect. And Bunny-chan, he's pushing up the offense. He's trying to get a pick there. Took a little bit of damage, but he's going to start for now. Eternal used his Dragon Blade, but got killed by Ruby Glyph using that Bionade. And so now they're missing a lot of damage here with only 3 ults to their name. They're looking for an opportunity to just get a pick and start this next fight. Riddle went in there, but there's the Nano Boost and the nuke. Will it be getting anybody? It will! It gets 2. It gets Bunny-chan and Saigon, and Riddle falls as well to Shazam. Monarch, they're being routed. They're being pushed back. Eternal is there on the Doomfist, but he wasn't able to connect it onto a wall. He's trying to get out. He will fall as well. This looks really good for the side of Aether.
What happened there was that was a really nice ult combination. You don't really think that a nanoed Rhine and then a Diva Bomb picks, because they're both very strong pushing ults. You've had Shazam charging their Rhine, Bunny, and he had to drop that shield. Otherwise, he could have just let his shield up, which allowed for the Diva Bomb to go in behind and not have that shield to protect them. It was a very good distractor.
So the Transcendence did come through, and there's the Graviton Surge. Sigfaj is going to pick up a quadruple kill using the Dragons into the Graviton Surge. This will be a good defense for the side of Monarch. They're going to be able to hold this checkpoint a little while longer unless Aether manages to get a good play here. They only have 1 ult to their name. They have the High Noon, and same thing with Monarch here. They only have the Earth Shatter.
It's going to be really hard seeing how Monarch started playing tonight. It looks like they're coming back from it, but I feel like Aether is going to be able to get on a stronger defense because they know what works. They're trying to get the high ground there on Monarch, and let's see if it works for them.
Using the Haidu from behind, Waifu was able to pick out Saikon, but Sickflash was able to take out Shazam in return. And with Waifu falling, he tried to get onto the payload, but his team did not follow up and try to get there. Bunny-chan has fallen, and Eternal is on that high ground trying to pick out Sheepy, but now the nuke comes through. It's going to get 2 with Riddle and Widowfaker falling. This could be what Aether needs. They manage it to sleep Eternal and take him out. O.C.C is on a roll here, but Bunny Chan, he is back with that shield to protect his team. But he's pretty much alone. He uses the Earth Shatter. He gets 2, but they aren't able to follow up on it. Bunny Chan does fall. Sigfox uses the dragons to take out Shazam, but either they're looking pretty good. It looks like they'll be able to push it forward. They use the Nano Boost to secure it, and right now Monarch, they're a little bit too far forward, and it looks like now they're just going to be cleaned up while Aether continues to push the payload.
That was a really nice set of ults. The Diva again coming with the nuke, taking out 2. Those are some really good picks that they did. They're taking out Widow Faker on the Ana, getting out those anti-heals. You take out the healers in a tank, starts to cripple, and it's then becomes the tip of their shot caller to either fall back, let them take the point, or continue to try and contest.
So now a few blows changing hands here, but Shazam, he's not going to run into a wall like Eternal wanted into. Eternal, he was slept, but he manages to ult in time, just in time to not die, and he takes out Waifu with his ultimate. Sigfox was able to demech O.C.C in that time as well. There are the dragons from the side of Sheepy, but it doesn't connect with anyone on Monarch. There's the Nano Boost on Bunny Chan. He wants to go in now. A Fire Strike brings Shazam incredibly low, and he will fall to Sigfox, who got past the shield. Sigfox is very low, but he manages to get away without dying, and that's a good defense from Monarch.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they push this here, because they don't have, once you get inside past the point, don't have as much high ground to work with, which they were working off of Monarch, and they were able to get good picks on that, but now they're playing at an even level field, and they might need to switch up how they play their characters, or might need to switch up a couple of their characters they have.
It seems like their offense isn't working here. Maybe Monarch, they just got in the roll things. Bunny Chan, he is picked out, and he's going to be flashbang and will die, but the Transcendence is going to protect his team. Aether is going to stay alive through the Graviton Surge and the Dragon Strike, and Eternal, he's trying to even up in the background, but he is going to fall right now. It is just Sigfox and Widowfaker trying to defend the payload. Sigfox, he's kept alive by Widowfaker for so long. He manages to get around the corner and survive. Now Bunny Chan is there and is able to provide some protection to his team, but either they're just backing off a little bit here. They want to get this return, but they don't quite have their team with them. Waifu is coming up. He may be overprotected, but oh no, K10, he's going to fall. And Bunny Chan is able to take out Ruby Glyph there, and Sigfox falls as well to Sheepy, but either they're going to have to back off.
Yeah, I was just about to say that Lucio would be a lot better on this third point when we see K10 switch to that. And it's because you're running 4 like near hit scan characters with Ruby Glyph on the Ana playing a sniper character, and then you having a Zen running a DPS. So a Lucio here might be better to get behind their position, work on their positioning rather than playing it.
That was a great ultimate combo there. The nuke was sent to the back line, and that forced Bunny Chan to turn around, and as soon as he did, Shazam used his ultimate Earth Shatter to take out the enemy team, and right now, the dragons are being used to try and wall off Monarch as the final push towards the point is happening here. There's the high noon to try and pick out people. Waifu, it's going to run out. Will it be getting anybody? It doesn't. Bunny Chan managed to protect his team. There is the Earth Shatter. It manages to get K10, but he is going to survive for now. No, he's going to fall. Bunny Chan, he falls, and Eternal is cleaning up Sheepy as well. Now it's just Waifu and O.C.C left, and O.C.C is going to fall here. No, he's protecting the point for so long, but there it is. He's finally fallen, and now Waifu is going to get picked out by Sigfox, but is going to die in return by Waifu. So now, with just 4.25 meters left, either they don't have a lot of time, just 20 seconds.
What's really going to determine if they can win this fight here is if they can get into the position quickly and disrupt their own. They have the characters to do so, but it is going to be a very tough fight.
They decided to keep their calm for now, no changes, and now they're finally pushing up to the bridge. Will they be able to touch the point? Just 4 seconds. Are they going to be able to do it? Oh, overtime is triggered. O.C.C was able to get on there using his rockets, but he is going to fall in turn. Now it's just K10 defending the point. Waifu is going to be able to take out the Riddle with his high noon. Eternal has been nano boosted. The nano fist is running around. It takes out Sheepy, and that is going to be round 1. A pretty good push from Aether here, but also a good defense right at the end from Monarch.
See, they just they didn't have enough time there. Once they started getting picked, they should have realized their time that they weren't going to get it once that Earth Shatter Dragon came out. They should have backed off immediately to be able to regroup. They take too much time on the regather and were not able to get a good positioning set up with the time they had left. So that allowed for Monarch to get the easy picks on as they staggered in.
That's right. So now Monarch, they have an interesting challenge against them. They do have to push it 81 meters. That is pretty far. It was just around 10 meters away from pushing it to the end. So we're going to have to look at what comp they're going to be using in just 5 seconds. Probably going to be something pretty standard. We know that Monarch is a pretty by-the-books team, and we'll have to see what Aether pulls as well. Looks like they are going to be bringing in the Roadhog. O.C.C is not going to be playing Diva this round, and they're going to be keeping K10 on the Lucio. And we're going to be seeing some interesting stuff from Monarch here. We're going to be seeing Sigfoch on the Pharah. We know that they are very, very good on the Pharah, so it's not a real surprise to see that. And Bunny-chan is going to be on the Winston. And we know that they're very good on Winston as well. Those two main tanks, Reinhardt and Winston, both very, very proficient. So we'll have to see if they can use this effectively.
Yeah. On these first 2 points, one more than the second, the dive comp on the attack is really effective once you take the high ground off of. The hard part is going to obviously forcing Aether to get off that high ground initially, and then they can start having Monarch can have more control with their dive. But definitely on the third point, once they get there, it is definitely going to be a switch up, because that it doesn't work on this.
So right now we're just exchanging some damage here. Sigfoch was sending rockets through the upper ground there to try and get some damage past the Rhine shield, but Shazam was there to answer it. The hook misses thanks to Bunny-chan's bubble, but he does fall pretty low, but thanks to the Widowmaker is able to, not the Widowfaker rather, is able to stay alive, but Widowfaker dies to Sheepy after getting flashbang. And so now with no main healer, Monarch, they're backing off. They know that they don't really have a whole lot of opportunity here, but they're holding up front line a little bit. They're just playing very cautiously, trying to get a pick, but they're not going to find any, so they are backing off.
Right. Yeah, Aether knows that the dive comp on this map, it relies on how well you control the high ground. And Sheep, they're starting to get set back up on that high ground push because they pushed it pretty far. Actually, they're going to back. If they control that choke, they have the limited area to jump, and they can kind of channel where they jump in. And which
pretty interesting. Sorry, it's pretty interesting that they decided to give up the high ground there and defend on the point. Sigfoch is going to fall to Sheepy, but Shazam falls in return. There is the Dragon Blade, the Nano Blade. It isn't picking anyone thanks to the sound barrier is hitting Shazam. He managed to kill Sheepy, but is going to be slept by Ruby Glyph. And so now Monarch, they're not looking so hot with the Riddle falling as well. They're backing oo and trying to not get picked out. O.C.C, they're trying to get in there and get a hook off, but it's going to miss. Taking a little bit of damage, but is able to use the take a breather to get back to his team.
Definitely forcing them to switch, Monarch to switch. It allowed for the ult economy to be in their favor, as we see Aether still has 3 ults on deck, although Monarch has 3 ults on decks as well. And so we could see a strong push from Monarch as they're coming in around trying to put a good flank, or we could see a very strong halt on the side of Aether.
And there is the Dragon Strike, and it manages to pick out Psychon, who was hanging out near the doors, and it seems like it was just aimed towards him, and Shibi is going to be able to take out Sigfoch with the help of Waifu, but Monarch is able to pick up 2 kills in return. O.C.C, though, managed to take out the Riddle with Bunny-chan falling to Ruby Glyph. It looks like Monarch is being routed yet again, and one good hook on Eternal is going to be a good stagger here. They don't have a lot of time, only 1 minute and 20 seconds to push the payload to the first checkpoint. If Aether manages to get a good hold here, that means that it is round done.
I feel like Eternal, even though he is playing a really good Genji tonight, he's not going to go well up against this comp. You got Roadhog controlling his positioning, as well as the Lucio ult who can negate his blade.
The Hammer Down manages to catch 2, but Monarch was able to survive through it. Waifu was able to pick out Eternal with the High Noon, and now Monarch is looking for a trade, and they managed to find it in K10, and there's the Rocket Barrage, managed to take out Shazam. Sheepy is managed to take out Sigfoch, who was, to be fair, sitting still in the air, but Monarch hasn't been able to pick up another kill, but they are pushing the payload forward. They managed to take out Ruby, Glyph, Psycho with the boop, and O.C.C is now alone, but just the amount of health is able to keep him alive for a while. Bunnychan manages to take out Waifu, and Sheepy falls to Eternal as well, and this is the first checkpoint with only 20 seconds left.
Their ult management there was really good. It allowed for a good strong push. Now it's just we've seen Sigpot change on the Junkrat. We just got to see they're managing their ults correctly and making sure they get the picks they need, targeting their healers and then focusing the tanks. Because once the heals are out, the tanks are become really hard or easy to take out.
And right now, Monarch seems to be taking just a really poor position. There's the Dragon Strike. Riddle was caught in it, but managed to survive with just half of his health. Sigfotch does fall though, and Bunnychan, he's alone from his team. The Riddle tries to go and help him, but ends up out of position as well. And so they fall. Widowfaker is trying to take out Waifu as one of the only hit scan members on his team. Is able to get out alive, but Eternal does fall to O.C.C. And now Monarch, once again, they aren't pushing quite as well as either was last time. And so they're trying to find an opening here, but they can't really seem to find it right now. Waifu has to back off a little bit with just a little bit of health and no mercy, no far mercy to really come up. There's the Graviton, there's the Dragon Blade, and it doesn't get anyone. No, they're very, very low. Manages to get Ruby Glyph, but he does fall to O.C.C. And now the Riddle is trying to push up and follow up. Manages to take out O.C.C. and Bunnychan gets the 2 last kills there. And right now it is just Waifu trying to stay alive with Sheepy fallen. He doesn't have any protection. He manages to get away alive. But this gives Monarch valuable time. They only do have 1 person on the payload, which means that is moving very slowly. But this frontline defense, they're staking on it.
The definitely Eternal switch to McCree is going to prove crucial here. They got the hit scan to deal with both now the McCree and the Pharah, which was causing a majority of their problems. They can start making the picks they need to keep a strong push going.
And there is a hammer down, managing to catch 3 there, and the Riddle is able to follow up and take out Aether. And now with just Sheepy alive on the McCree on the high ground, Psycon is able to get up there and try and kill him, and eventually Sheepy does fall. Now Monarch, they're starting to look better. This is sort of a remake of last match where they started off kind of weak, but they're ending pretty strong here. They just had to push it now to the last checkpoint and they win the game.
If we see this with Sick Botch on the far, if they keep them, at least keep one on the payload, keep that payload moving at all times, and just keep it going and keep them spread out. Keep your positioning well, and don't be afraid to back off if they start getting some picks.
Sigfotch managed to get a kill there, but does fall in turn. Eternal able to take out Shazam. Now, neither team has a main tank. Bunnychan, he's trying to get back to the team, but no, Reinhardt is not a very fast person. And now they're just at this corner. The Riddle is taking the job as frontline, but now Bunnychan is here to help. And they're just trying to push forward, trying to create a front line, trying to get a pick. The Bionade does come through the side of Aether to try and keep them alive. Bunnychan, incredibly aggressive, trying to get some damage out, trying to get a little bit of kills. Eternal manages to actually dies to Sheepy. Sigfotch does try to return and only gets 1 kill onto K10. The Riddle, though, getting 2 kills thanks to the Graviton Surge, and now it is just Shazam, and Shazam does fall to the charge. O.C.C is away from the payload, and there it is. Monarch wins the first game of the day.
That last push was really important. The Pharah ult taking out their healer, which you think at first it's like a wasted ult, they only get 1 pick on a barrage, but then the Graviton afterward, with the Lucio being out of the picture, they were not allowed, they could not get the heals they needed, and they were able to take down the team with Ruby Cliff's anti-nading and able to clean up and push the point clear and get that final couple meters they needed to secure the win.
And we just saw that great Dragon Strike there. Good communication to say where the Graviton Surge was. You know, that's sometimes something that you have to learn as a Hanzo, is whenever you hear the Graviton Surge, knowing where it is. And they were able to communicate that to him very well. Was able to get that great quadruple kill there. So now we're going to have to be looking at the next match here while we set up the team. But let's talk about that. Monarch, they seemed a little bit shaky. Both rounds there at the beginning, they had a really tough time defending from Aether. They ended up getting pushed back way far and had to have a strong defense on that last checkpoint. And then on the attack, they had such a hard time taking that first checkpoint. Why do you think that might be?
It's just the switch to the dive, and Aether's knowing how to counter their dive, knowing their high ground control, actually counter their dive, and then forcing them to switch back to the Ryan Zare, which allowed Monarch to get some footing, but they were allowed to hold him for a lot longer because when they switched characters, they didn't have that ult charge that Aether had, which allowed them to hold the first point pretty strongly for a good bit until Monarch's getting their picks and clearing them.
So the next map is going to be Ilios, a really great Koth map, King of the Hill. You just try to hold the middle point for as long as you can. You get a lot of really interesting swaps here. It's take and retake. You know, you're having to take a point and then defend it, and you might have to, you're defending a point and then you lose, so you have to take it back, and it oftentimes comes right down to the wire. And we can't wait to see some of these. We oftentimes see Widowmaker on this map when it's on the Ruin stage. We see a lot of boops when we're on Well and Lighthouse. So I'm pretty excited to see Sycon and K10 both play that Lucio probably at some point and try to get good boops.
Yeah, so normally you see the Lucio Pharah. You got Lucio on heals, Pharah on DPS. But you always, the most common tank combo I see on this map is a Roadhog and Orisa. You got that main and off heals, but it's all just about controlling who is where on these maps and being able to try to position yourself right to not get booped off yourself, but to be able to boop off the enemy team, which is where positioning on this map is, especially in the high elos, is very important on these situations, because one wrong step and you could be down a well.
And one thing we do see in the pro games sometimes is a Bastion when we're playing on Well. And I always do love watching a Bastion. I know a lot of people seem to think that it's boring. He just, clicks and holds on people, right? But, there's a lot of tracking there, and watching a really good Bastion Strata stuff is just a delight. So I'm hoping that we see that pretty soon. We are going to be going in now, and we're just going to have to wait until the picking phase is over before we see what these teams are going to be playing.
I really think Bastion Knight, but I don't think we'll see them on these control points maps, just because Bastion is a very stationary character, and since this is a constant switch from attack and defense, you generally do not see Bastion on these maps because you got to get them into position right, and it sometimes takes some time to set up, especially when you're both running in at the same time and switching.
We're just going to have to see. We are going to be starting on Well, and in just 5 seconds, we're going to see what these teams are thinking. There's lots of different ways to go about this, and we're going to be seeing Sikfach on the Junkrat, which is going to be just a lot of fun, and Eternal on the Doomfist. They're both just really great pocket picks for these two, and we're going to be seeing a more standard composition from the side of either. They're going to be running that Orisa and that Lucio and Roadhog like you were talking about, but we are going to be seeing a McCree and Reaper for the DPS.
The Reaper, I mean, as I saw in some of the other matches, Reaper is really good with the phasing around and holding a point for the longer period of time in open areas, but you generally do not see them picked on this map. It will be quite interesting to see how he is used here tonight.
Since they do have a Lucio on their team, maybe they'll be able to close the distance, but now Monarch is actually going to be going through the Lighthouse itself to get past that Orisa shield and not take a lot of damage as they do it. And now Eternal is able to get a little bit of damage in there, knock around the team, and although no one has fallen, either has been pushed off the point. 2 kills, Sipsy and Waifu are going to be Sipsy is going to fall, but Eternal is going to fall in turn. Bunny Chan manages to get a charge onto Shazam, who wasn't able to fortify in time. And there is the tire against 3 for Sigma. That's insane, managing to get that tire so quickly. And although the Coalescence came out from Central Time, wasn't able to keep the team alive through that instant damage.
That tire was definitely huge. You got to Sigfox damage into those to get that tire that quickly, but at the end, because you said the constant fights, one pick for Monarch, one pick for Aether, and that tire getting that 3 kill really secured Monarch's placement on this point, with their aggression through the lighthouse being a nice strategy to go for.
And a really great flanking Earth Shatter from Bunny Chan, managed to catch a couple, but not a lot of kills coming out. Sickbot managed to get another tire that fight and took out Central Time, and with no main healer, either they're going to have to fall back. Eternal is in a little bit of danger here against Sheepy, and he does fall, but Doofus is able to get back to point pretty quickly, and he does have that ult available to him.
I think the Doomfist ult is also going to be really interesting here because of the it's an area of effect. It's one of those ults like Hanzo's dragons that you're controlling the area with these characters, and that's in control point maps is really important.
Sickbot sitting over the high ground, he actually tries to jump up into Waifu and try and take them out. And there is the Meteor Strike, managing to take out K10, but the riddle falls to Shazam. Sickbot managing to get a kill return onto Waifu, but the revive is actually going to go to K10. Psychon manages to boop Sipsy into the well, and there is the hammer down. It only catches Sheepy thanks to Shazam's Fortify, but they're just pushing past that Orisa shield. I mean, Orisa shield, it's a stationary shield, and they are able to just rush past it so quickly.
This Ana here, Widowpicker's running, is definitely a good count to Aether's Reaper, which we'll see him switch now to McCree, because everyone was worried about the Reaper buff that we're giving him 50% heals on the damage he does, but Ana's anti-nade, it just completely negates that effect.
So the tire manages to take out Sipsy, and Eternal is just wreaking havoc, taking out Shazam and Sheepy, and he's charging up a punch. Will he be able to get anything? No, he can't. So then Bunny Chan manages to take out Central Time with a charge, and Waifu not able to contest the point any longer, and does fall. So that is going to be the first point to Monarch.
That was really interesting. Both good plays on both teams, but Monarch did come out on top of that, but they will have to change up their strategy on Ruins to play more of a high-low ground concealed map, especially with the point B round setting. You'll see something similar to Busan maps and those kind of play style.
And one hero that we see a lot of Ruins, we don't get to see very many other places, is Widowmaker. So it's pretty interesting that Aether has decided not to run one. Instead, they are running the weak point to, or the person that Widow is so strong against, Farah. And right now, Aether, will they be getting flack for that? We will see right now. Monarch manages to get to the point first, thanks to their mobility from Bunny Chan, and they're able to push Aether back just a little bit, but right now, no kills so far. Waifu manages to get Sickfotch there. You know, good thing to be able to take out a Hanzo, and is doing a good job of staying out of the sight lines. Shazam managed to take out Bunny Chan, but there is a couple of kills from Monarch taking out Sheepy in Central Time. Eternal finally managing to get a kill with Widowmaker, but it looks like that is going to be the point for Aether as the riddle falls, and Monarch has to give it up.
Monarch's positioning of the Widow there could have been a little better. I feel like Aether was calling out, if we listened to their comm, they were calling out, especially knowing that Widow issues on this map, to know where the Widow's sightlines are and play their positioning out of it. Like you see Waifu there sticking behind, knowing Widow's right up there, and being very cautious, which is allowing them to control this point.
Waifu taking a very aggressive stand against Eternal. Eternal is able to get the Mega Health Pack, but they are just pushed up so far. Will they be able to get a kill? It only takes 2 direct hits to take out any hit scan, and there it is. Waifu manages to take out Eternal, but does fall to Sickfotch. You take out one sniper, there's another one there, and now Monarch, they're looking to take the point. They're rushing on there. Bunny Chan, oh, a good block of that Earth Shatter from Bunny Chan, and now they have a chance. No, Bunny Chan falls with no main tank. Will they be able to do it? The Coalescence comes out on the side of Aether to keep their team up. Sickfotch is on that flank trying to get a kill, but isn't able to make anything connect, and it looks like Monarch is having to fall back and give up the point once again.
I feel like the Widow, it is good on this map, but Eternal needs to either work on or maybe switch to a more direct character. Projectile Kyre might work, because you have the 2-hit scan at the moment, and it doesn't appear to be doing enough damage to get in on that point.
So the Graviton Surge and the Dragons come through and is cleaned up by Waifu with the Rocket Barrage there. A great ultimate combo from the side of Aether. Will Monarch be able to do it with 85% on the point? They do not have a lot of time to contest it. They're trying to group up. They don't have a Lucio. The Psychon is now on the Zen. I don't know if they'll be able to contest it in time. They're coming up to the choke. Will they be able to get there? There are the Dragons coming for 6 punch. 98, 99. Overtime is triggered thanks to Widowfaker with the Moira using that fade to get on there. Riddle does manage to take out Shazam, but Eternal has fallen. The hammer down gets 3. And now it's just Bunny Chan and Psychon left. And oh, they're taking so much damage. And that is it with a 100-0 hold on Ruins.
Definitely the comes down in this map is their initial picks, because like I said in previous matches, you're having to swap up characters, you're having to do it as many times as if you have to do it over a couple times, you lose that ult economy, and it makes it a lot harder to keep strong in the fight when you're going against a team with ultimates and against you're not having a lot use, which allows them to wow.
Yeah, you had to click on heads when you're playing Widowmaker, and if you can't see the heads to click on, or if you can't click on them when they show up, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. That's the sad fact of Widowmaker. And in this plat division, you don't always see people able to flex to Widowmaker very well. It's usually just Widowmaker one-tricks who can actually aim with her. So, you know, it's not entirely unreasonable that Eternal wasn't able to do as much as he wanted to there. So now we're starting to exchange some damage. Both teams are at that central pillar trying to exchange some blows. Bunny Chan, he has the bubble on him, manages to get some charge for his Zarya there. And now there is the first kill. Widowfaker falls to the orb from K10, and Waifu managed to take out the Riddle as well. Bunny Chan actually used the charges to retreat, and that is a good point take for Aether.
I say it's really interesting to see Pharah being run on both sides of this map because of the internal building point. Yes, it's good on the outside, but once a point does get captured, Pharah becomes kind of useless in that sense because it's hard for her to concentrate into an enclosed space. But the Ana would have actually been really good there for a since Sheepy's on the Reaper to get that anti on him, not allowing him to use his passive ability and heal.
It looks like to combat that little weakness with the Pharah, they're actually holding way outside of the point, and Waifu manages to get that Pharah duel onto 6 punch, although manages to fall to Riddle. And now they're it is a 5-5 fight, but there is the revive. Waifu is back, and Riddle tries to get up there and take Waifu out, but survives. Sheepy takes out Psychon and Eternal as well. And that is, it looks like another great hold from Aether as they're just pushing forward, trying to get more kills, trying to get a stagger, but Monarch is falling back. They've fallen back, so now that their team can catch up.
What I would recommend for Monarch in this kind of situation is get your ults charged quickly, and then maybe switch and use them, try to get a point cap to a dive pump, because they're playing very out in the open. It's a lot, if they can get those dives onto their healers in the back, keeping them alive, they could do a very strong push without ults.
So Riddle tried to get up there and contest that Pharah, but actually the Pharah does fall. And now there's the hammer down. Oh no, the Transcendence is there to protect his team. Psychon, the absolute savior there. Chibi does manage to get a kill onto Eternal, but a lot of good returns there. Waifu falls to his own rocket. Central Time is going to try and get the revive off, but Bunny Chan has their number and is just swiping through the team. And they are going to be able to take the point just in time, 95-1.
We might see, I would recommend for, if Monarch wants to hold, is to hold the internal, it seemed to be, don't get too cocky and get too far ahead, because then they'll be able to start getting picks and then back cap him like Monarch just did to Aether.
So now damage changing hands, trying for O.C.C is taking a very aggressive position. Waifu falls to the flanking McCree. There's a hammer down from the Graviton Surge, and it gets the entire team of Aether, and they are able to just clean up house and defend the.
That was a really good timing with their the graviton surge. It was there, but you had Bunny Chan holding on to his ult, and it's not allowing the cleanup. And with Eternal's ult to do more cleanup as well, that graviton surge basically had become useless. It should have got a little more in there.
So Waifu, not feeling too confident anymore with that Pharah duel, has switched to McCree in order to get that little bit of hit scan energy down. Bunny Chad was stunned there, but manages to stay alive thanks to his team healing him. And now they're just holding forward, and there is the nuke. It manages to get Sheep, who just came out from behind that corner at just the wrong time and fell. O.C.C has been revived, but Central Time has fallen, and he tried to charge away, but ended up getting caught on the corner. And now Aether, they're being routed, and Monarch is just pushing forward so hard and manages to get Shazam and K10 as well. That is such a hard stagger, and with just 90% left on the point to defend, will Aether be able to get onto the point?
We could all see it. This modified dive for them with the D.Va and Ryan, it seems to be really working for them. It's just they need to hold together, but it looks like they are not going to be able to get on point as Mercy tries to get in there, and it just doesn't work.
Just barely managing to not get on there. And another great Transcendence at the end from Saikon as well. He was doing a really good job of predicting those Earth Shatters and just staying alive through them, so then he can use the Transcendence to protect his team. And here we're going to be seeing Sick Clutch with that just match first fight tire, getting a triple kill. They were not expecting that, and they all died.
Like I said during that match, that positioning of that tire was crucial because each team at that time was getting one pick on the other. It was just going to make it hard and going to do a reset for both. But that tire set it in for Monarch to have that well control. And he came away with 2-0 against Aether at this moment. So still anyone's game. It's just Aether needs to sit down, talk, and get a counter ready for these next maps after the halftime.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back from the halftime break there. And one quick thing, Zissou30, that's how I'm going to say that. Thank you for subscribing with Twitch Prime. You should be getting the invite to the Discord where you can talk with us, the stream team, the players, and maybe play some games with them. And actually tonight, we are going to be having a community game night on the PTR. We're going to be getting some really great actual team comps on Paris. So if you want to go over there and check it out, please do. It is going to be a lot of fun. You'll actually be able to get to play Paris as intended, which you usually don't get to do on the PTR. So we're going into the next match. Right now, Monarch is up 2-0, and we are going to be going on to Hollywood.
The way Aether could come back from this is to get their team, their communication, or they need to start getting picks. They have proven to be pretty strong, especially on that last control point map, which Hollywood is our hybrid map. So we could see the strong zone control on their defense, but they are going to have to be going attack first, and we have to. It will all depend on how they can communicate and start getting the necessary picks. They need to target their healers first, and then try to get through their tanks. Otherwise, Monarch could come in with a 3-0 and win the series tonight. But it's still, we will have to see.
The tank play from Monarch has been absolutely king-like, if I do say so myself. So, we do have a few little substitutions to talk about here. Brave Hurry is in instead of Bunny Chan. We'd absolutely love watching Brave Hurry, so that is great. And we are also going to be seeing Hip Hop Jorge on the side of Aether. And just a little bit of a swap around. Ruby Glyph does now seem to be playing the off tank and Sipsty the main tank. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see if those more role swaps more than anything will play out for them.
We'll just have to see. We're seeing Aether coming in with a with the waifu on the Tracer. They're trying to look and get their immobile. They're going to be trying to go around the main area, but we do have the Bastion getting set up on the on the low ground. Actually, he's switching back up to the. I don't know where he's going. He's still moving.
I believe he's going to be going up to that balcony where the coolers are. That does make sense. Since they do have that Symmetra, they are able to relocate at will with just a little bit of coordination. They'll be able to relocate to the top of the cafe. So now, blows are changing sides here. With that Reinhardt shield, cannot stand very long in that line of fire. So Bastion, you want to keep your fire rate up in order to keep that accuracy. And now, what Aether is doing is they're getting under that high ground so that there isn't a good angle. But thanks to the teleporter, they are able to just relocate and get set up in the cafe. And they have a full range on the point still. Oh, there it is. The first heal. Sigfox manages to take out Ruby Glyph. And now the fight really starts. Sip C is taking a lot of damage and manages to charge Riddle, but falls to Eternal before the charge actually connects onto the wall. And a quick cleanup from Psycon and Sigfox is a rout for Aether.
The mobility Bastion, especially in the Platinum and the higher elos, is a very good, the Symmetra Bastion combos. It's allowing them to move from the high point to then when they get into that corner push up, they're able to then switch. And then allowing for a very mobile, high damage output, which is very essential in this Hollywood defense map.
Absolutely. It looks like to counter this, they're going to be running the Tracer to try and get on the point past that high ground really, really quickly, but they're just able to relocate onto that cafe. And earlier we saw Saigon able to get a good pick, and that staggered Aether very, very well. So now another setup from Aether means that they're trying to take the point. Looks like what they're going to do is go all the way around the backside. This seems to be what they have come up with. They are keeping a Hanzo inside of the hallway to try and get a little bit of flank damage there with the relocation of the shield. But as of now, it does not matter. Eternal took a lot of damage, but still survived. There is the ultimate take form. And there's the nuke. It does manage to get Waifu, and Yixi falls to the pulse bomb. But that Eternal on the tank mode is just dealing so much damage. Takes out Sipsy, and Ruby Glyph falls as well. And now Central Time is trying to stay alive in the back and uses the sleep dart to get out alive, but it is not looking good for him.
When they had heard that Bastion ult, Aether should have fallen back. They should not have used Sheepy's ult there, because when Bastion isn't his very high damage output character and mobile as well with that.
A great flank from Sipsy, just gets behind and earth shatters that Bastion and charged him into the dumpster where he belongs. And now they're able to take the point and push that payload forward.
Sorry, I thought I muted my. But yeah, you're not going to really see, as you see, Eternals going off the Bastion onto the Genji, because on the defense it is not going to be on a moving payload. They are not going to be wanting to hold on to that Bastion.
Yeah, after that point, it's really difficult to keep that Bastion up and running. So now, good front line, thanks to that Reinhardt Zarya composition. they're just trying to push forward to get a good pick, and Bravery is just there swinging away, and thanks to healing is able to stay alive. And now Monarch getting 3 kills onto Aether. They're just trying to follow it up now, trying to get kills, and they are doing it. Sheepy managed to take out Bravery, but it does not matter because O.C.C has brought him back.
Now that they're on the payload, Aether, you've seen Waifu switch off the Tracer onto the McCree, trying to deal with Sigfoch and his Pharah. He's going to take out Riddle, but let's see how they can reset themselves on the payload to continue this push.
There's the dragons coming out, but Psychon with the Transcendence keeping his team alive. That is what you want to see. But now it is not there for the Graviton Surge. But Bravery is able to sustain the storm from Coalescence and stay alive. But no, he does fall when he tries to charge away. It does go through barriers, and so he was just constantly taking damage there. But O.C.C has brought him back. And there it is, the hammer down. Allows it for the triple kill from the Riddle's nuke. And now they're just closing the gap onto Sheepy and Waifu. And Sheepy, poor Sheepy just accepts his death and dies.
That Shatter nuke combo was really, really nice. They didn't have the Reinhardt there, but with the D.Va going up, it would draw. If the Reinhardt was there, it draws his shield upwards to know he doesn't know when it's going to blow, thus allowing Bravery to get that Shatter in to just immobilize the team to then take the nuke.
Absolutely. And now another good front line from Monarch. They're just trying to get some extra damage in. They do have 1 or 2 ults to their name. Sigfoch does have their ult, but Bravery is down, and so is the Riddle. And so there are no takes. No, Bravery is back, and there's the Genji Blade coming out, and Bravery is able to clean up the kills that Eternal softened up for him. And there it is, another great defense from Monarch.
Monarch's ult management is really, really well done. They're conserving their ults, making their call out. They're using as minimal as possible to hold a very strong defense. We see them still with 3 ults on standby, but we could see a turnaround with Aether having A5 and the Graviton coming up from Roby.
So this is looking pretty rough for Aether here. They only have 30 seconds left. Eternal was slept, but he was damaged just after, so he stayed alive. And there is another nuke shatter combo, but it seems like Aether, they knew the jig was up this time, and they managed to take out Bravery when he went in afterwards. The Riddle did take out Ruby Glyph, though, so O.C.C getting the punch on Waifu. You hate to see it. And there's his final Transcendence coming out to try and just sustain the team, letting him push forward. O.C.C has been nano boosted, isn't able to do any damage through the Transcendence, but there is the Earth Shatter, getting Riddle and Psychon. So Psychon has fallen, and Riddle's looking pretty hurt, really be able to get out alive. He is stunned, he is D-mech, but Sigfoch is able to clean up Sip's and the Riddle has fallen to Waifu's High Noon. So now, the Graviton Surge comes out from Aether, and there is the Dragons, but it only catches Psychon. They are able to get out of the way just in time, and there is the Dragon Blade. Will be able to get anyone. A good fade from Hip Hop Jorge, but it isn't enough. He's able to close the distance and get the kills. They cannot contest the point, and that is round 1 for Monarch.
One thing I feel Aether's not doing is planning the ult side of Monarch. They're using their ults. When they're on their final push, they should have waited to use their ults, knowing that half the team of Monarch was back at their spawn, trying to get back. They should have waited, and they could probably have gotten more picks once Monarch had gotten themselves back. Instead, they used 3 ults there, I believe, to then only get 1 pick. And then Monarch coming back in with the Blade, the Surge, and just cleaning up afterwards, and held for a pretty strong defense on the side of Monarch.
They had an absolutely massive defense there. You are right. And that is a good place to push to. Just halfway through to the first checkpoint, rather, just after the first point, just right in front of that saloon. That is where you want to be pushing to, because oftentimes we see either a full hold at the beginning or it's a fight for the end. So having the entire round time to just push it up to in front of the saloon is really, really good for Monarch here.
Yes, and they realize that they're going to have open ground the entire time. It allows them to stay on their dive comp that they have. They've been playing that pretty strongly on their attacks. So we can see them staying on there, getting their ult charge, and trying to... We could see a good match out here from it.
So they do have the gap closers that they want in order to get past that Arista shield. Sick Fudge up on the Pharah, trying to get some damage there, and there's what we were talking about. Bravery is able to just go right past the Arista shield, and the Riddle is just getting onto that back line. The Ashe does manage to get a TNT onto Bravery, but it just doesn't matter. It just tanks through it, and oh, so many kills coming from Monarch here. They are just cleaning a Sick Fudge does kill himself, but it does not matter. Saikon getting that last kill onto Waifu. They are going to be able to take the first point on the first push.
See, I see Aether, what they're trying to do. They're trying to control, assuming that Monarch might have run dive on this style of map. They were trying to run a player controller, but it just wasn't working with them. They were able to get past them, past the Arista shield, and just clean up. And we could see them do a 5-minute hold here if you've seen some switch from Aether onto the Soldier and the Mercy, trying to get those reses in, or we could see a very clean push to the end.
A good hook from O.C.C. manages to demech the Riddle, but a Meteor Strike onto the backline doesn't catch anybody and is immediately hooked by O.C.C. You had to be careful about using that Meteor Strike when going up against a Roadhog, and Bravery does fall from the Whole Hog and Sheepy. And Sick Fudge, though, didn't manage to pick up a kill on Waifu, but they don't really have any sort of front line, any sort of protection, and so they are having to fall back and wait for the...
Yes, it's going to be a really hard push in their beginning, but how we've seen with their ult economy tonight, being able to manage their ults really well, not using too much at one time, manage it well enough, and get a good push with minimal ults possible.
So there's some great ultimates from Monarch. They're just using almost every ultimate that they have. The Primal Rage, the Barrier, and they are just pushing through so hard, and they are able to get the kill on Ruby Glyph, and oh, poor Aether, they're just trying to fall back. Saigon gets the melee kill onto Hip Hop Jorge, and Waifu falls to Eternal. O.C.C. did manage to take out Eternal Infer, but Saigon takes out O.C.C. That is quite an accomplishment, taking out a big fat Roadhog with the Lucio. But right now, it's looking really good for Monarch. Oh, Aether, they only have just one chance to contest the point. Will they be able to do it? No, they're pushed off, and that is it. Aether, they were not able to contest the point, and Monarch takes the win for today.
One thing I saw there at the flaw of Aether is once you get to that mobility, they needed to switch to more mobile characters. Their steady characters were not holding too well, and Monarch was just being able to push past that, and they were not able to counter the Monarch with mobility themselves, which would have been, we could have seen a different game with those changes if we see like more of a dive comp as well, again, from Aether.
You are absolutely right. We do have one more game ahead of us, and we got to watch that great Diva Bomb Earthshatter combo from the side of Monarch. That was just what you want to see from a team. So our next game is going to be on Hanamura, a really great 2CP map. Everyone cries about 2CP, but you see some really innovative defenses here and some really creative offenses. Sometimes that frustration is what you need to come up with a way to combat it. We may see goats come out of this. Who knows?
Aether probably will definitely want to use goats because that will counter the dive that Monarch may be running, because Monarch's been doing pretty well on the dive tonight, and if they're just having that massive damage pool, they're able to pick off, and they just keep their cluster together. They are able to pick off any divers that may want to try to push into them, which they could, if they do that, they could hold the Hanamura point B, but I feel like Monarch, it won't be a problem for Monarch to get past the first choke point to capture A. but we could see a 4-0 from Monarch, but Aether still had made some pretty good plays, so we could see a victory here on Hanamura.
We will have to see. So right now it looks like both teams are running what they were running just before. Actually, it looks like Brave Hurry has been taken away. We're going to be seeing Shazam come in on Aether. So I haven't gotten to see Shazam play to my knowledge, so that keep an eye on him. Maybe looking for some big plays there. So he's either going to be running Mage Tank or Off Tank because it was swapped out for Brave Hurry. So it seems like they would have kept Brave Hurry in and taken away one of the DPS players if they wanted to run goats. We'll have to see if that's what they decide to do. For now, we are just going to have to watch and see what happens. I've even seen Symmetra get played on attack on here because you're able to use that teleporter to just get past the chokehold point right there. It's so difficult to get through this gate.
The gate is definitely one of the first obstacles to get through, but once you get past it, point A is really come to the capture, and then point a whole new ball game with the rooms. There's so many different flake points for the attacker and so many different hold points for the defenders. It will depend on the communication of both teams to be able to hold on to point B as well.
So one interesting character we get to see today is Ash. O.C.C is going to be playing the Ash today. Kind of interesting because it's Waifu who seems to be so taken. No, Central Time is going to be flexing over to the off-tank role instead of a main healer. It's going to be Sheepy on the main healer, trying to bring some of that hit scan skills into his Ana play. So we'll have to see how that turns out. And let's just briefly talk about Monarch, their Eternal on the Doofus. Love to see it.
And you got the Ryan Zarya comment, which is really good for this first choke point, but we might see them switch after the choke point has been taken. But Reinhardt has been fairly proven on the control of point B as well.
Eternal managed to get a good punch off and got onto the point so quickly. A Waifu has fallen, and Central Time as well. No tanks on the side of Aether, and Brave Hurry has fallen to Ruby Glyph, but it looks like Monarch, they don't care. They're taking out O.C.C and Sheepy, and they are just falling like flies. Shazam is the last one to fall, and that is a hold for Monarch.
Their Monarch shifts back onto the point was definitely something impressive. They were able, most teams, when they get past the control point, it's hard for them to trickle back and they get out of position well, but they stayed together really concise and shifted quickly.
So it looks like Monarch's plan here is just rush past the point or rush past the choke and just get on the point. Saikon was just alone there and fell to Waifu, who could just have free reign over poor robot Gandhi. But they are getting revenge. Mosaic taking out Waifu. And now with Central Time being demech, they're trying to just stagger her out. Oh, poor Central Time. The punch was missed and it's actually able to get out alive. No, she has fallen to Eternal. The Meteor Strike is coming through. It falls, but it doesn't catch anyone. And now he has just gotten back to the choke point. Will they be able to hold? O.C.C is coming back. Will he be able to get there? Looks like it. Waifu has been slept by O.C.C, and now it looks like another great hold from Monarch.
One thing I've noticed is that Ruby on the Tracer, he was going in by himself, not really getting supports from his dive tanks like he should. Waifu and Central need to really communicate their targets well and start focusing character at a time and switching from one app to the other. But with the Sombra, we could see a different play, but if they can, but we don't know. So we'll just have to watch and see how they play with the switches they've made.
So Waifu getting back to the back line, trying to get kills. Saikon, though, just picking up two all on his own. You do not need any help, do you? Mosaic taking out Waifu as well. And now this is just so many great holds from Monarch. It's been a full hold, not a single tick.
You alright there, let's see? Mean to cut out?
I should have been talking, maybe I wasn't, but
yeah.
I was saying that so far it's been a full hold, not a single tick taken from Aether, by Aether rather. The Graviton Surge has come out, and just an absolute massacre from Monarch. Poor Sips T on the Ash falls to Eternal. Looks like Shazam is on that Lucio to try and just close the gap a little bit better, but they have not been able to do it.
One thing I worried right there with that fight, when Monarch was starting to push very far into the building and stuff, you generally don't want to see the overextend. So it can then turn to be fatal, but we're seeing Ruby go behind, which could be really nice, but...
This is looking really good. The Transcendence cannot help you from instant damage like a nuke, and that is a double heal. Waifu on the point uses the Primal Rage to stay alive. Yixi, she's just trying to stay from getting knocked off and manages to, but Waifu has not given up and just pushing forward. Gets slept though, and Yixi does finally fall to Bob. There's the nuke coming from the Riddle. Manages to get Ruby Glyph and Waifu. This could be what they need. The Riddle is just trying to hold it for as long as they can. The Meteor Strike is here, and that is going to be actually going onto the back line to take out Sips T, and the Riddle is there trying to get back. No, falls. Mosaic actually fell over the edge and ended up dying. Brave Hurry is just there swinging away, and Eternal took out Sheepy. Ruby Glyph, though, taking out Brave Hurry in turn. This looks like it is going to be the first point taken for Aether. They have a chance for point B.
I feel like there in that final hold, when you had Bravery going in trying to hold on to there, the nano came out from Shippy, but it hit Shazam on the Lucio, but it ended up working for them. I feel his target was for Central Time on the Diva to get that hold and clear off Bravery. It'll work. Lucio went close range. He does a lot of damage.
So now they are just rushing onto the point as fast as they can, but it looks like there wasn't much follow-up from Aether, and so Waifu ended up dying all alone, and Sheepy getting picked out as well by Eternal. Now they're just getting onto that balcony to take out Ruby Glyph as well. That's a pretty good stagger here, and Aether, they have just 3 minutes to take this first, or take this second point.
One thing you see a lot of teams do on here is hold that high ledge on the left, and then you see attackers try to go in on their right side, which is up on that left side if you're where they are up now. But you saw the ledge push out there, which is good, which majority of characters went, but it's just...
There is the EMP and the nuke to go up there. Brave Hurry falls, wasn't able to go down the stairs far enough, and that's a point take. The Riddle wasn't able to get there in time, although Aether was. That was a great push right at the end. The EMP and new combo was exactly what they needed to take that point. And now they have 2 minutes and 45 seconds in the bank for the next time they roll around if Monarch is able to take point B. Although this map doesn't entirely matter because the overall game today has been won by Monarch. We just sort of play this fourth game to make the streams a little bit more consistent in time.
Yeah, I feel Monarch might take this chance to practice something. I know their dive is really strong, but now they can use this map their attack to maybe attempt a different strategy, because like you said, they already won the series, but they still might want the 4-0, so we seeing them run their standard dive, and it all depends. It can get their defense together and prevent them from getting the 2-point capture, or we could be seeing a round 3.
We absolutely could. So say in the chat if you think Monarch is going to be able to push all the way through, or do you think they are going to be held by Aether? I mean, Monarch, they're going to get a little bit better about actually getting on the point if they want to take this round as well. So we're going to see if they can do it. Now, they're going to be running that dive composition that has been working for him. Brave Hurry on the Winston, that Tesla gun, on him is just so great. It appears, though, that Aether is not going... No, there they are! They were behind all along. They have rushed onto the point, and Psycon, though... Seasonal is coming, managing to boop Rubyglyph off the map, although Aether, they're getting kills in return. Bravery is down, Yixi, she's down, and Eternal is down as well. Will they be able to hold the point? That was a sneaky play from them. Just staying up on that high ground, staying behind. It looks like this is a rout for Monarch.
I see, with that there's one strategy you don't see pulled a lot. That's why it's always a shocker when you see it happen. But that giving them the choke point and just allowing them to free range onto the point, it's they get that false sense of security, like, oh, like, where are they? You get nerved, but you feel like they're not on the point, you don't see them. And then Aether was able to come in with that surprise and just pick after pick and clear them off. But I don't see how it works on the second time they attempt it.
It seems like they would be running that with more of a goats, you know, that really close range competition. But I mean, they have O.C.C on the Reaper, who can do just so much damage close range, and that is what we are seeing here. Monarch, they seem a little bit more prepared for it this time. Waifu just rushing in there. We see the ult from O.C.C taking out Yixi, and now Bravery is all alone. He got hammered down, but so was Eternal, just barely on the edge of it. Mosaic does manage to take out Waifu, but they are routed yet again.
I feel like there is a Aether. They were playing a lot more aggressive this time around than what we've seen in their previous maps, and that's what they needed. They needed to work on their aggression, playing those odd plays, and just making and not being afraid and second guessing and pushing. They have their comp. They're setting it up.
So now, the point is being contested again. The rally coming from Rubyglyph to give that team just that extra takiness, but will it be enough? It seems like it will, with the nuke taking out the riddle. Bravery is gone as well, and Monarch is being routed. Aether just has such a good strategy for this point. It seems that they are just able to play this over and over. Maybe if Monarch ran a GOATS composition, they could contest at that close range.
They could very contest at that close range, but their main focus would be having Yixi focusing the Reaper O.C.C to anti-nade and then to clear him off. Otherwise, it's just, if you run, you could be a easy health pool for O.C.C Reaper.
So now we're seeing the point contested again. The EMP from Monarch, that could be what they need, with Braveheart using the Earthshatter to demech Central Time, and Central Time does fall shortly afterwards. It's Monarch, they are looking like they'll be able to take the point, but the ultimate from O.C.C gets 3. That could be what they need to defend it yet again. Only 40 seconds left.
Monarch is going to need to get a very strong push. They need to focus Reaper. They know he doesn't have his ult now. They have the Graviton and High Noon, which could be really good, but they need to target. Shield is down low, and then you got Ruby as well with a shield as well. So it will all depend on how their positioning and their targets do work.
Rubyglyph got a little bit excited. Waifu was all the way up at the top and charged into the team. Although he missed, he got the Earthshatter from behind. But the Graviton Surge from Monarch, that could be what they need. Bravery is nano boosted and just swinging through the team. They are lined up like bowling pins, and it's a strike. They are going to be able to take this A point finally in overtime. They have just as much time as Aether did for point B.
That was a really strong push at the end. They used their ults wisely. They put their positioning at targets, and it will all see, as long as Aether does not make the same mistakes that Monarch did, we could see a strong stop again from Aether like they did, but let's see.
So it looks like the point is being contested again. Bravery falls, did not get enough heals, was just too far away, and body blocked by Aether. And so now, you know, they don't have their main tank. They're going to have to wait for him. They're going to have to try and push one more.
One thing I would like to see out of Aether to do a more strong defense is keep a couple characters on the point, maybe have Waifu down there, but keep the Lucio up top to be able to speed the rest of the team down if they get down.
So they've just rushed to the top. They're going to be trying to use this sound barrier to give them that little bit of extra sustain they need to rush the point. But there's the rally talking about sustain. That is what you want. And so Aether they're so tanky. They're able to defend the point. Rubyglyph took out Bravery with a stylish hook or stylish whip there. And now O.C.C is just cleaning up Eternal. There is not a lot of time left for Monarch.
Something's not working in Monarch. They need to have more point control. They have a good health pool, but O.C.C and Lucio and Sion, they're not getting enough heals out for the team that they're being picked off, and the Reaper O.C.C is just giving them hell, and it's proving to be a real challenge for.
It seems like their communication may be a little off as well. Either they're doing another cheeky thing here, but Waifu actually fell and is having to just go around into the pavilion to stay alive and is able to charge back to the point. But either they're just staying up on that arch to try and be able to drop on top of Mosaic, or not trying to drop on top of Monarch, and they try to do it. Bravery was booped off with the rockets onto the low ground, but O.C.C, she went down there to help him. There is the Blossom, took out two, but does fall to Bravery. And Eternal is on the point, but does fall. There is a big Graviton surge, but there isn't much to follow up with. It's only Bravery there, and he has fallen to Central Time.
It was looking really worried there for the side of Aether. You had Waifu on the bottom starting to get pushed. They didn't have their main tank up at the top to deal with the strong, heavy high ground push coming from the side of Monarch, but they shifted down just in time enough to deal with and help their main tank, and then recapture and clear the point once more, and they had that spawn advantage for their picks to come back.
So either they couldn't jump down quite in time, and it looks pretty good for the side of Monarch so far. There is the rocket barrage, but it's being eaten by Central Time, and there is the sound barrier coming out for Aether. Will they be able to do it? A sound barrier in return. Waifu has fallen, but Bravery is nowhere to be seen. He is sitting in the respawn. He's trying to get back. He does have his Earth Shatter, but he has a long ways to go in order to get there. And in the meantime, his team is having it rough. Psychon is managing to stay alive from Ruby Glyph, using that little bit of extra mobility. And Bravery is here now. Will he be able to use that Earth Shatter effectively? He is Earth Shattered himself. Didn't know where Waifu was. And a hack from the side of Eternal manages to hack Waifu, but Bravery was not able to survive still, and it looks like Monarch is being routed with just 10 seconds left. Will they be able to do it? Will they be able to contest the point? We'll just have to see. 8 seconds left. Bravery, he doesn't have his charge. Will they be able to get there? It looks like Psychon is just rushing in there to contest it, and Eternal and Riddle are there as well. And now overtime has been triggered. Ruby Glyph is in there trying to do as much as he can. Oh, the EMP confirms the kill on Ruby Glyph. And although the Earth Shadow went through, it didn't seem to get anybody. And Bravery has fallen, and Eternal has fallen as well. The Riddle has fallen. It's just O.C.C left. Will she be able to do it? No, the Blossom. But it wasn't even the Blossom that killed her. It was Central Time, and that is a team kill and a map win for Aether.
That was... You definitely saw a lot better communication come out on the side of Aether tonight. They were able to keep their position really strong, and O.C.C on the night when the Reaper was huge, play the game from him. Clutch. Getting the triple kill right there. It was just really good turnaround over the past 3 games from the side of Aether, and they shook up Monarch. They started to see him falling apart a little bit, but they did manage to get that first point and start pushing onto the second point, so it wasn't a total loss. But it was a very good match tonight from both teams.
You saw Psychon trying to boop him away from the team, but ended up just bouncing against the wall and wasn't able to do it. And also, thank you to Overwatch Star Lord. Just subscribed with a tier 1 sub for 7 months in a row. Thank you very much. We hope to see you today at the community night. Like I said, we're going to be playing on Paris on the PTR. Going to be able to actually get some real team comps on Paris, see what it's going to play out like. And I've heard some really good things. I haven't been able to play on it myself yet, but I hear it's a really great map. So GG's to everyone. If you guys want to be part of our Discord, you can either submit an application as a coach, as a stream team member, or as a player, or you can just subscribe like Overwatch Star Lord did and get invited to it so you could be a part of that community night.
Yeah.
So thank you all very much for coming. Let's talk just very, very briefly about MVPs. So who do you think will be the MVP from Monarch?
Monarch's MVP, I have to give it to their tank's bravery and Bunny. You saw them pretty good. They were playing their tank roles. They were holding that strong Ryan and Winston played, and they both did extremely well on their roles tonight inside of Monarch, getting that 3-1 victory.
Oh, sorry, Starlord. I didn't know you were the one that runs the community night, so I guess we will be seeing you there. Well, that is great. And I think I'm going to have to agree with you with Monarch. Bravery and Bunny were just so aggressive, creating opportunities for their team. I think, though, I might just have to give it to O.C.C. She was creating such great opportunities for her team and just was healing so well. It allowed that just insane aggression for him. We saw some great anti-nades to help with that. So thank you all very much for watching. That is it for tonight.
Alright. I am a Mono.
And I'm the Litzy. See you guys next time.